You know, if you're an entrepreneur, you've probably felt it. This quiet but really powerful shift that's happening right now. It's not some flashy new trend. It's more like a strategic retreat, a move away from complexity and back to what actually grows a business. Efficiency and, of course, profit. And it all centers around mastering that customer journey, what we call the funnel. Okay, let's dive into this revolution.
So let me ask you a question, and let's be honest, this probably hits a little too close to home for a lot of us. Have you ever felt like the more tools you have, the more problems you end up creating? Right? You sign up for these giant all-in-one platforms that promise you the world, but instead of feeling empowered, you just feel bogged down.
So in this explainer, we're going to break this trend all the way down. First, we'll look at the revolution itself. Then, we'll diagnose the problem of what I call the overloaded toolbox. After that, we'll explore the lean alternative that's taking over, see how it's just hardwired for ROI, and finally, we'll talk about how smart entrepreneurs are making the switch without pulling their hair out.
So, what exactly is this funnel revolution? Well, it's this mass migration of savvy entrepreneurs who are moving away from those sprawling platforms that promise hundreds of tools, and they're moving toward leaner, more focused systems. Systems that are built for one main purpose, to generate revenue as efficiently as humanly possible.
Now, what's so interesting here is that this goes way deeper than just swapping out your tech. This is a fundamental shift in business strategy. Entrepreneurs are making a conscious choice to prioritize high profit margins and speed over a long list of features that, look great on paper, but often just go unused and end up complicating the core business of making sales.
All right, let's talk about the real problem that's driving this change, the overloaded toolbox. The idea of having everything sounds fantastic in a sales pitch, doesn't it? But the reality often comes with some serious hidden costs that can grind a business to a halt. And this brings us to a concept we can call the overloaded toolbox syndrome. You know the feeling. You log in, you're ready to be productive, and then you're hit with this wall of apps and options and you just freeze. It's that state where the sheer number of tools actually creates friction instead of solving problems. It is absolutely maddening.
So here's the deal. This syndrome creates three very specific, very real problems. First, there's paralyzing decision fatigue. You're thinking, which of these 5 page builders is the right one? Second, the automation is fragmented and buggy, like your webinar tool doesn't properly talk to your email list and you end up losing leads. It's just pure frustration. And third, you're constantly paying for a whole suite of tools you don't even touch.
This slide just nails the all-in-one paradox. On one hand, you're promised this incredible, unlimited toolbox to solve every problem you could ever imagine. But the reality? It's paralyzing choice and wasted hours just trying to figure out which tool to use. You're promised a single, integrated system, but it feels more like a box of separate parts that you still have to duct tape together yourself.
So, what's the alternative? Well, it's a move toward a completely different philosophy. Instead of give me everything and more, the new approach is all about only the essential, but make it perfect. And this is where a new breed of focused, streamlined platforms is really starting to shine.
Check this out. This table draws a really clear line in the sand. On one side, you've got the everything and more philosophy. It's focused on websites, apps, all kinds of other stuff, and the automation often feels kind of tacked on. But on the other side, you have the essential and perfect approach, which is laser-focused on sales funnels and ROI, with automation that's truly native and seamless.
And this chart really drives the point home, doesn't it? Entrepreneurs are realizing they're paying for 100% of this massive toolkit, but in reality, they're actively using maybe 10% of it, usually just the sales funnel builder and the email autoresponder. That huge gap you see? That's just pure economic waste, and it's driven by the fear of missing out on some feature you might need one day.
Okay, so this brings us to the payoff. How does this streamlined, focused approach actually lead to better business results? Well, it's all about designing the system from the ground up to maximize your return on investment.
Take a look at this. In a system that's actually built for sales, these profit maximizers aren't clunky add-ons. They're native to the system. Think about it like this. The order bump is when Amazon asks if you want to add batteries right before you pay. The one-click upsell is when, right after you buy, they offer you Prime with a single click. These features are built in, they're seamless, and they automatically increase your average order value without any tech headaches.
And the automation is just as powerful. Here's a classic example. A user abandons their shopping cart.
In a truly integrated system, that action instantly applies a tag, which then immediately triggers a targeted email sequence to go and recover that sale. There are no complicated zaps or technical connections to set up. It just works. And that reliability is what drives conversions.
Of course, the biggest fear for anyone, even thinking about a switch, is the migration itself. It could feel totally overwhelming. But what if we reframe that? What if switching platforms isn't just a hassle, but a massive strategic opportunity to actually strengthen your business?
Think of an intelligent migration as the perfect moment for a strategic spring cleaning. You finally get to purge your email list and only bring over the active contacts, which immediately boosts your deliverability. You can focus your energy on rebuilding only your essential funnels, the 20% that are generating 80% of your revenue, and you can finally leave behind all that digital clutter, all those old pages and outdated offers that just aren't converting anymore.
This quote right here perfectly captures the emotional core of this entire shift. The whole goal is to stop being the system administrator and go back to being the marketer. It's about reclaiming your time and your energy so you can focus on growth, not on being your own tech support.
And to remove that final barrier, many of these lean platforms now offer 100% free assisted migration. That's right, their team literally does the heavy lifting for you. This completely changes the game, not just technically, but mentally. It removes the biggest source of anxiety around making the switch and makes the whole decision pretty much risk-free.
So at the end of the day, the choice becomes crystal clear. It's a decision between two very different paths. Path 1 is complexity. You pay for a bunch of excess features, and you spend your precious time just managing tools. Path 2 is clarity. You pay for operational efficiency, and you spend your time where it actually matters, growing sales.
And that leaves us with one final, and I think crucial question to ask yourself. Take a really hard look at your current tech stack. Is it truly a strategic asset that's propelling your business forward? Or has it become an operational liability that's costing you time, money, and focus? The answer to that question might just be the start of your own funnel revolution.